Kenya has so far recorded 1,518 deaths accumulatively since the onset of COVID-19 pandemic in the country in March. According to statistics from the Ministry of Health, 33 doctors with 7 clinical officers have since succumbed to the virus out of more than 2,200 infected.
We have observed that some unscrupulous individuals are selling PPEs when delivered to their institutions. I want to warn that such individuals will be arrested and face criminal charges because that is theft.
Kenya and counterfeit, including COVID-19 protective equipments, have been on the rise. Locals working hard to be seen with masks even when they are not of good quality to protection of the virus. These cases prompting questions on the quality of personal protective equipment to our frontliners on fighting the pandemic.
I know that there will be thousands of tailors from all over the country who will also look to make these masks.
To answer some of these questions, I got into Kenya Bureau of Standards microbiological laboratories to establish how they analyze a face surgical mask and the medical protective gear.
Now, today I want to find out if indeed this mask is fit for use or human use. And today I'll be getting into the laboratories. This is at the Kenya Bureau of Standards. That is an agency mandated to make sure this is a standard mask for human to use it during their own operations outside there. But with me today, let me get inside and find out if indeed the test would test okay for human use, then this is okay. But then we also have some questions to find out if indeed what are the stages of testing when it comes to making sure that this is fit for the humans. Follow me.
This is a very important lab in the fight against the current pandemic of COVID-19, because this is where we also do some parameters related to the PPEs. And in this case, masks, the face mask, and also the sanitizers.
For this process, Clarkson Ogembo, a laboratory expert, takes charge of the entire process, where he starts by emphasizing that all masks should be of bacterial or microbial filtration efficacy and microbial cleanness and sterility test or bioburden.
The aerosols are produced at some pressure through the mask. So this apparatus has been set such that we mimic those conditions. But we have taken the worst case scenario because we are blasting the mask with very high pressure, almost 10 times the pressure when somebody produces when sneezing. We blast the culture to form aerosols.
Aerosols in the saliva?
Yeah, to demonstrate or to mimic the mouth saliva. Then we blast the aerosols containing microorganisms through the mask.
I can see some pressure coming in.
Yes.
What does that mean?
That means we have created a pressurized aerosol and blasting it through the mask.
To achieve this, a specimen of the mask material is clamped between a 6-stage cascade impactor and aerosols chamber. An aerosol of microbial culture or microbial solution, which is the sputum, is introduced into the aerosol chamber at specified pressure using liquefied nitrogen gas and drawn through the mask material and the impactor under the vacuum.
Is analyzing for the quality of a mask, a face mask. And what we do is we demonstrate, or we have set up an apparatus that demonstrates the efficiency of a mask to protect aerosolized saliva.
Clarkson confirms that the bacterial filtration efficacy of the mask is given by the number of colony forming. Then a control test is done without the mask material to obtain initial microbial concentration. In this case, microbial concentration is the saliva.
4.33
G
yes,
grams.
Yes.
So what does this mean?
It will be very important during calculation because we have to report the counts per gram. So whatever counts we'll be able to get, because we are going to filter the water and incubate the plates. This activity is done between flames to ensure that these flames create a mini or a micro sterile environment so that when the mask is being weighed, there is no microorganism in the surrounding area that will contaminate the process.
The full mask is practically removed from the packaging and placed in a sterile or 500 milliliters bottle containing 300 milliliters of extraction liquid. The bottle with the sample and diluent is placed on an arbitral shaker and shaken for 5 minutes.
We are trying to capture or dissolve the microorganisms in the mask into the distilled water, because it is the distilled water that we are going to filter.
Extraction liquid is filtered through a filtered membrane and laid down on a triple sugar agar plate, which is the TSA, for the total viable aerobic microbial count.
We have camoed the water. Now we have the bacteria or fungal organism trapped, and they have been put on specific medium. So we are going to incubate these plates for fungal at 25 degrees centigrade for 48 hours or sometimes up to 5 days. Sorry about that. And for bacterial for 48 hours, but sometimes up to 72 hours. Yes.
The microbial aerosol that have passed through the mask material is collected, inculated and incubated together with the control sample at 30 degrees Celsius for 24 to 48 hours.
Is incubated at 25 degrees centigrade, as I've said, for up to 5 days, depending on the situation. The temperature is very, very important, and we monitor the temperature every second throughout the day, throughout the night, throughout the week. This is called a data logger, which records temperature every second. And at the end of the week or the day, we download this information here and into a printout to ensure that the temperature is maintained throughout the incubation period.
Okay.
So we ensure that the temperature is plus or minus 1 degree centigrade. As you can see, this is 24.2, just because we opened the incubator. But normally it's 25. 30 degrees centigrade, and we monitor the temperature very well. That temperature is now 29.9, but we also have a data logger, which is indicating around 31.3, but it's within. Yeah, sometimes it can go a bit, but that is what we want. 30 plus or minus 1 or plus or minus 2 degrees centigrade, which is still okay.
In this phase of test, face mask material must demonstrate efficacy of 98% minimum to be declared fit for use.
We have competent staff in the laboratory, and as we said earlier, this laboratory is accredited by SANAS, meaning all the test results that we produce here are acceptable worldwide. We have a wide range, a wide scope of parameters that are accredited. Yeah, that means whatever we do here, the results or the outcome is acceptable all over the world.
On the other side of the laboratory, Enoch Katan, head of Textile Engineering Laboratory, takes it up with the physical checking of the mask if it fits the specifications.
We check the tensile strength of each mask, which is, for this particular one, we are going to do a trapezoid tear. A trapezoid tear is, will give you the property of how strong the mask is when it comes to action by forces, external forces that are applied on the mask during use. You don't want a mask that is going to be torn easily when you put it on, or when you stretch it to fit your mouth.
The mask is cut to check its weight. In this case, an analytical balance is used to check accuracy of the mask.
That is within the specification for that particular one. So you'll do the same for all the other layers, second and third layer.
Okay.
Yes, as he records the reading. So this is around 19.4 grams per square centimeter. And the third layer is the one which is, yes, you can see the third layer is 26.4 grams per square centimeter. So you can actually check and see that this plot is being displayed. So once it's fully torn, we'll stop the movement.
A quick one, eh?
Yes.
What does that mean in a common setup like mimi niko mtaani? What does that mean?
Actually, that means the mask that you are using is able to withstand the tensions that are applied during use.
Okay.
So each it's actually, there's a set limit that it's supposed to withstand a specific force required to do that tear.
The mask is then taken to a sterile test on a sterile machine. The sterile machine that is computerized then generates the actual measurements and force required to tear the mask fabric is applied. Same procedure is done to the mask straps.
The machine is to check the strap attachment strength. Yeah, this is the strap here. You know the strap now. Once you are ready to put it on, you will always apply some tension when you are stretching over your ear loops, or when you are tying. You know, they are the ones which you have to tie. So the force that is that strap is attached to the mask is important, and we've had actually a number of complaints from some users that some are have a weak attachment force. They give way so quickly. So this tensile machine is actually going to give you also the force required to pull off or pull out the strap from the mask. Let's move. Just like the other one, again, the lower clamp is fixed. The upper one is moving, and as it moves, it applies some force on the strap. And you can see actually it's snapped. This is now I'm looking at the peak force because it's 7.8 newtons. Now 7.8 newtons is not within the minimum requirement is actually 19 newtons for it to meet the normal use.
So what does it say?
It just says that one is not meeting the specs in terms of the attachment strength. It is going to, it can easily come off before you use it. Yes.
So in short, with that specification now, this mask Will not qualify.
This mask will not qualify to be used for it will not be fit for purpose.
Just because of the...
Yeah, just because of that strap. It's too weak. It needs to have some specific force.
The same procedure is taken on the gown, on fluid penetration resistance and the tearing strength.
Quality when it comes to the fight against COVID-19. This is actually a gown that is used by medical personnel and any other person who is in contact with the first line. We call them first line defense. So again, we have to check the quality and check that it meets the specifications. The critical part of it is the fluid penetration resistance. It should be able to withstand any fluid from going through the specimen, and you check at what pressure does the fluid come through the specimen. So we have a set limit of 100 centimeters of water, which is similar to around 9 kilopascal. So we have a set limit of minimum pressure at which it must withstand before allowing any fluid to go through. So that we do check. We also do check the tensile tests on this one. We want to also check the tearing strength, that it's not going to be torn exactly the same way we did for the mask, the tearing strength. We'll have a look at how the tensile is done. Then again, we are also checking the seams. You know, this one is already joined at some point. So we want to see whether the joining is strong enough. So we actually apply some force to check whether the seam is going to give way. A seam at the armhole. The armhole is where you have the body being joined to the arm of the fabric. So we are going to subject again that to the same test.
Extreme closer.
Again, because we understand that you have to join the two pieces together, then we've set also some specifications for the strength of the seam or the joint. And so this, again, tensile machine is giving us the load at which the seam is going to give way. You know, you don't want a situation whereby when you stretch or when you want to pick something and then it's torn. And, you know, we are looking at corona, so we don't want to expose the users of the garment. So each joint has to meet some specific requirements.
As COVID-19 numbers continue to increase, with health workers bearing the brunt for lack of personal protective gears, items worth billions of shillings are wasting away at the leading drug supplier stores, that is KEMSA.
Just listen to this situation. You are in a facility, you don't have the right PPE. When you fall ill with COVID, you are told you don't have any cover. And even when you die, we actually have to even contribute to even get the bodies to go and bury.
For us to contribute money for treatment of doctors who have been admitted in various health facilities is very absurd.
Doctors and nurses unions have protested to down their tools due to lack of PPEs and delayed salaries in different counties. Yet investigations at the Kenya Medical Supplies Authority KEMSA have stopped the distribution of COVID-19 items worth 6.3 billion shillings.
Provision of standard and adequate PPEs in all healthcare facilities in the Republic of Kenya. Doesn't matter it's private or public. This is now government responsibility.
Mutai Kagwe, CS for Health, has now ordered KEMSA to release PPEs lying in the KEMSA warehouses. Doctors in the country issued a 21-day strike notice to the government to ensure the plight of medics and other health workers are resolved, failure to which they will call for a nationwide strike.
This time round we are very, very clear. Our lives as frontline soldiers is our constitutional right. We are the soldiers in this war, and if you issue orders against this notice, then that order shall be a piece of paper
The doctors under the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacist and Dentist Union, KMPDU, now want the government to provide standards and adequate personal protective equipment to all health workers in all health facilities, including the private facilities. Reporting for Straight News, I'm Ode Francis.